I'm Tony Pulis.
And I'm Mick McCarthy, and welcome to The Managers.
I said, Jose, come in for a drink afterwards. He's even drinking his beer cool, right? He's just cool. He goes, what have we got to eat here? What it is? These are Wigan pies. He bit it, went right down his shirt, right? All mince, and
all
it was red
gravy.
hot. George Cadet was blonde there, ain't going to fit Bradford. He's coming and leaves Bradford tonight, 9 o'clock, make sure you pick him up. So I get in the car, took him to the hotel, dropped him off, played the game, beat Arsenal 2-1. So I go up to the boardroom after the game, he went, you're a coach? He thought I was a taxi driver.
I've worked in the Championship and then the Premier League. What's the difference?
Night and day, innit? I remember Alan Kirbysley saying to me when, I think when Charlton got relegated, we got promoted. He went, whoever's your fastest, their slowest will be as quick as them.
I guess this week I've had a reputation for doing the impossible, guiding so-called unfashionable clubs all the way to the top flight. As a player, he was a striker for both Bradford City and Wigan Athletic, but he was in the dugout where he really made his name. He led both clubs to the Premier League and kept them there against all the odds. It's a real pleasure to welcome to The Managers, Paul Jewell. Welcome,
Another
mate.
Dinosaur.
Another dinosaur, yeah. When you said there, the impossible job, I thought I was working for Tony. 3 days I lasted.
3 days. 2 days too many, mate.
Yeah,
2 days too
yeah,
many.
day and a half.
I've got the first one here. A lot of fans will know Chris Kamara from his broadcasting days, but he actually worked under him at Bradford before stepping up as manager. So we'll get to know about the manager, but that'll be interesting about Chris. And it was Cammy himself who recommended it to chairman Jeffrey Richmond, who we have 3 stories about, I believe. For the job, what do you remember about the transition from playing to managing?
Well, I remember I was a player and I wanted to carry on. And Cammy came to me and said, look, if we get promoted, because he got the job after Lenny got the sack, and he asked me to sit on a bench, not as a player. That's what he thought of me as a player.
Well, you never wanted to sit on the bench as a player, did you?
No, well, it wasn't even as number 12. No, Mick, it was like just, so, because me and Cammy got on really well as players, and he knew I loved the game, and I'd take my coaching badges when I was 24 or something like that.
There'd be something wrong with if you can't get on with Cammy.
Yeah,
though.
he was brilliant.
Before that, Wigan, as a player. Playing at Wigan, did you ever think you were going to go into management?
Not really. No, I mean, do you know what? Sometimes it's frightening. I remember, I don't know what I'd be doing now, Tony. It really is frightening, because, I'm not good with my hands. I'm not the brightest tool in a box as far as working stuff out.
I thought you were going to say, I'm not very good with my feet.
No, I'm worse with my feet than I have my hands.
Cammy thought that. He made him a coach instead of a player.
I don't know what I've been doing now. But
So the managers you work with at Wigan, let's start from there. Obviously, you were at Liverpool as a kid.
Yeah.
And then went to Wigan.
Yeah, I was playing for Liverpool Reserves, and I know Tony Kelly called me up, and he says, because there were a load of Scousers playing for Wigan, Tony Kelly, Alex Kilby, Johnny Butler, David Lowe, Mike Newell. Yeah. We had the load, and he said...
Some good players
there.
Yeah,
real good players, yeah. And he said, the manager's asked me to call you. I said, who's the manager? He went, Harry McNally. He said, he's coming to watch you tomorrow. We were playing around, I can't remember who we were playing. I got a couple of goals. Anyway, I went on loan. My first game on loan, Rotherham away at Millmore. The pitch was that one. Yeah. So... Big Steve Johnson, remember the big centre forward?
Yeah.
He gets sent off. Steve Walsh gets sent off. And Harry gets sent off from the stands. we're 3-1 down and we draw 3-3 in the end.
We're just going to play those with the days. Hold on, it's coming
honestly,
on now.
It was like 3-3. I thought, what have I come to here? And it was just mad. He was a character. And my first game after that, we played Chelsea in the FA Cup, which was great for me, Stamford Bridge. Yeah. When the FA Cup was, on the third round was a big day, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And we went 2-0 up, and Speedy and I think Dixon scored to make it 2-2 draw. In those days, you played on a Wednesday, straight after. But it was icy, so it was called off, and and I ended up going back to Liverpool, and I missed the replay. They lost 5-0, but that's not down to me. But Harry was just, he was a character.
I knew him.
I don't want to say he's mad, because he was not mad. He had an eye for a player, obviously. But those players I've just reeled off. Tony Kelly, Mike Newell, David Lowe, Steve Walsh.
So Harry, who else, Paul, was there that
Harry left?
would have any influence to you?
Ray Mathias, I think. But Brian Hamilton took over. He left me out for the final, which is when I've had to do as a manager. It's horrible.
There's a bit of a theme running through this. Managers leaving you out.
I know, yeah. As I said, Mick, I wasn't very good. As Terry Yorrett says, he says to me, people tell me you're slow. He said, you're slower than you look. So that was the end of me.
They left you out for the final.
Yeah, it was that Leyland Daff it was in those days. It was in 84, 85, I can't remember what it was.
So you say you've had to do it as well?
Yeah, it's horrible, isn't it?
You do, don't you, when you're picking 11 for the final.
Yeah. So, but when I'm saying one was a Carling Cup, one was a Leyland Daff. I don't. I know how he feels.
So out of those managers, any influence, anything that stuck, Paul, and what was it?
Definitely, Harry was. He gave me a first chance, and he was tough. I remember we drew at Cambridge at home. In fact, Moisey played centre half. We drew 3, and they were bottom of the league. We drew 3-3. He had us in the next day, and he ran us up. And it ran and ran and ran. And on a Wednesday, he took us to Kettering to play a friendly game, and we had a game on a Saturday. And it was just
managers did that though.
Yeah.
If you lost, I remember when being at Barnsley, you were doing around the pitch, laps of the pitch, laps, then 200s. Then it was just.
I know. I think I've done it as well. Yeah, but and then and then Ray Mathias came after Brian, and Ray was great for me.
Yeah.
And how times had changed, because I was my contract had run out, and it was before Bosman and all that, and Fulham came in for me. So again, another theme here, Mick. Ray drove me to Fulham. That's how it was. He
was keen for you not to go then.
Yeah. So he drove me all the way to Fulham, and Ray Loonson was in charge.
Yeah.
Then. And he, to be fair, Ray was brilliant, and he just said, "Look, we'd like to sign you, but those houses facing here are like £300,000. I just bought a house for 35 grand in Ainsdale. I'm thinking it's a palace, you know what I mean?
I was going to say it wasn't last week. That wasn't the price in those houses.
No.
But going back in those times, I remember we used to sign lads from London clubs when I was at Barnsley. I can't ever remember too many Barnsley players going to London because the standard of living, the price of houses, there's no chance. They
got married,
and
it was 35 grand. I always remember our first house, and Mick and Ray says, I know they were bigger houses. I went, well, that's only a terraced house. 300 grand, so God knows what they're worth now. But so that didn't happen, which I was a bit, I would like to have tested myself down here, to be honest, something different. But then I went to Bradford. Bobby Campbell, God rest his soul, rang me up.
Bobby Campbell.
I was to play with Bobby at Wigan. And he was coming to me. It was brilliant for me. He had the voice, didn't he?
He did.
The ex-Chelsea manager.
No, the ex-centre forward.
Oh, Bobby Campbell.
He did.
So the phone rings one day.
I had some of the most violent games against Bobby.
I can remember one.
And I remember sorry, I know you're telling this story. We ended up playing against. He went to Florida. He went to America to play.
He went to Canada. He went to Canada, didn't he?
Yeah, played out in America. And he said to me before the game, this is the end of season, right? Alan Clark was our manager. He says to me, right, Mick, what do you want to do? Are we having it? Or are we just going to take it nice and easy? This is an end of season game. I said, whatever you want. He said, shall we take it easy? I went, suits me, fine. It was the easiest game on the less violent game.
Yeah, no.
He was a good player.
But he couldn't have mixed it.
But he was a brilliant header of the ball. He was only 6 foot, but he was a brilliant header of the ball.
Yeah.
Anyway, he rings, the phone rings up. He's got a voice. He goes, is that Mr. Jewell? I went, yeah. He said, it's Inspector from the West Yorkshire Police. So I said, what do you want, Bob? You know what he said? How do you know it was me? I went, I don't know. I was a wild guess. Anyway.
So that was at Bradford?
So I was leaving Wigan, and I went, listen, Bob, I've got to speak to Norwich and Plymouth. He's, it's typical Bob. You won't get in their teams. Get to Bradford. So I went to Bradford, and anyway, it didn't go particularly well to start with, and he did say he would never recommend anything for Bradford again. But, things, it took a while for me to pay Bradford back.
That's your first job, though, Bradford?
Cammy went up to see the chairman,
and
he comes back, he says, I think he wants me to get rid of one of the staff. He said, but you're all right, you got to play his contract. He come down, he went, he just sacked me. And Cammy done a great job, and I said, he said, he just sacked me. He said, I've just recommended him.
You must be thrilled with that recommendation. You know he's just sacked him.
Well, do you know what? This is how mad football is, Mick. So I went up to see the chairman, and he was like, I'm really sorry, I've got to... He said, will you take the reins over? It's just Saturday, playing Stockport. So, and this is how sliding doors. We all think we're really good. We all think... We went to Stockport. Gary Walsh called, and my goalie, or our goalie, has a cold, doesn't play. Cold. Okay. Anyway, he has a cold, and we get battered. Mark Prudhoe has the game of his life, and we win 2-1. I guarantee you now, if we'd have lost that game,
you wouldn't have got it.
I don't know what I'd be doing.
Yeah.
I really don't. So when we all think we're great, so I change the system. Play with Chrissy Wilder as a sweep. I remember that.
Well, there's another story, by the way. We could talk about Chrissy Wilder.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyway, go on.
We got battered, but we won 2-1. And then Jeffrey, he said to me, it bought him a bit of time because everyone wanted Joe Royal, even Terry Venables was talking. I was the last. I wasn't. You know,
isn't it incredible? There's always, and even when you get the job, you always hear afterwards of the people that were being interviewed or that might have got the job or somebody was interested in him. You know, and then you get the job, and then you take it on and do really well.
To be honest, I think Jeffrey's.
You did all right at Bradford.
Well, I've got to tell you,
at the beginning,
did all right, and then Jeffrey calls me in, and I think, listen, I think Jeffrey looked at me and goes, he's young, he's cheap, I can control him to a large extent. But being from Liverpool, I also knew that, you know what I mean? So I was working him as well as he was trying to work me. But he called me in on we're playing Crew, about 3 games before the end of the season. He goes, I'm going to give you the 2-year contract tomorrow, Monday, you know, as long as you don't get beat 5-0 tomorrow. And, oh, brilliant. So at half-time, we're 4-0 down. It's gospel true. I'm thinking, oh my God, what am I going to do here? It was roast or not, Gresty Road, and you know, Crew could pop it round, you couldn't get it off
with
them.
Dario manager then.
Yeah. So I go in the dressing room, talk about Phil Brown. I went in, I went, get out. So I thought, I've got to do something here. I just can't, as I'm walking past, all our fans are giving me dog's abuse, and quite rightly so. I went in and I thought, I've got to be able to see that, I've got to do something. So I just sent them out. And we lost 5-0, I'd say, so we only lost the second half 1-0. But to be fair to Jeffrey, I mean, he said, I can't give you it this Monday. So I think...
Did he negotiate you down a bit after that one?
Honestly. So anyway, fair play to him. He gave me it. And again, we got off to a terrible start the next year. We spent a bit of money in the summer. And we got off to a bad start. But once we got it going. You know, sometimes when you...
But so we've all done... Isn't it hard, though? You're expected, like, it's going wrong. It's tough for the manager that you're with. He gets the sack, and you're expected to get the job and turn it around in jig time like that. It just doesn't happen, does it?
No.
So you're going to suffer. Very, very difficult. Does somebody get a job and it just turns around instantly? All right, we might see it once or twice, but
I think,
lower down the leagues when you haven't got the players, the transfer window's gone, you've got what you've got. It's tough to take a job over.
It is, but I mean, there was an opportunity. You know, I was
not saying turn it down.
I had to be right with Cam as long as Cammy was right with it, because I didn't, you know, because there was no obviously. So, but we spent. I think it's funny because I sent one of my scouts to watch Arsenal reserves play at Wimbledon, and this is a bit what Jeffrey was like. And I said, he'd come back to this. The lad Isaiah Rankin's quick. He said he'll get him behind. So I rang Geordie Armstrong, God rest his soul, and I said, George, he said, oh, he'll do you, Paul, 50 grand, he'll get him. He said, he's not, you know, he's not ready for us, he's not good enough for us, but he'll do you. So I went up to the chairman and I said, look, I can get this, we need a bit of pace. I said, all right, no. So that was 50 grand. So we got William Mills. So we got some money, and we got about 4 or 5 million to spend, which doesn't sound a lot of money, but it was a lot of money. Yeah. So we bought Millsy, we bought Gareth Wally, great player, Ashley Westwood, brought Stuart McCall in, free transfer from Rangers, which is great. Anyway, so we're going along. So he calls me up. He says, halfway through your pre-season wasn't going great. I've got your striker. I said, who? He said, Isaiah Rankin. I said, oh, brilliant. 1.3 million. I said, what? He said, Arsene Wenger. Oh, Wenger's done a right job on him. So he's rang him up and gone, oh, he said he thinks he'll play for England. I said, Chairman could be 50. No, 1 point. Anyway, and IG was a lovely lad.
It's funny that, isn't it, though, how people judge players on the value that they were bought for. So if they're buying for 1.3 million, supposedly a good player, you're buying for 50 grand, same as the fans.
Yeah.
50 grand.
Yeah.
We don't want somebody at 50 grand, but if you buy him at 1.3 million, the same player, it's suddenly...
but the main point is that you've got a football person dealing with a football person about a football person, and then you spin it round, you've got a chairman who's not in that
Wenger's played him. Wenger's rang him up.
And then he's absolutely pulled his pants down.
Yeah, because he's, Arsene Wenger's rang
And slapped his backside, by the way.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's we got us to a tough start that year. We got beat at Watford Crew. And again, we played Birmingham, got home. We were a good side, but we beat them. And then we went on a run. And then, it's like football. It's just like a switch. You're thinking, the confidence, Tony. Yeah. We went on a run and we just blew everyone away. And if a team scored against us, it was like, okay, we'll score 2, 3. Millsy was on fire. Blakey was great. Wally McCall. We had combinations all over the pitch. I've always liked my combinations.
Yeah.
And that's what we had. We had Biggs on one side, who was the left winger. Jakes, who was the solid. We had Jamie Lawrence on the other side, who was a workhorse. So we had Biggs, who was a bit of a luxury player with Jamie, who we'd tuck in and we'd be narrow.
Were you 4-4-2?
Yes.
What was the chairman like then?
He was all right, yeah. He was all right when we were winning, But
what was he like overall?
Do you know what? I don't want to be too harsh on him because he gave me an opportunity, but he was very demanding. It was the best grounds, and do you know what I mean?
I'm going to say, it's good for you, though, that he's demanding.
I had to be really bright with him because, when we got to the Premier League, it was a bit, we play, the agents get involved, don't they? So he takes, because he's there 8 o'clock in the morning, he goes home with the night watchman,
This is the chairman,
Jeffrey Richmond, every morning, he was first in.
Wow.
So I had to see him every day, 3 hours, and he used to smoke.
Did you beat him in?
Hey?
I'd have been in before him.
He slept then, mate.
So no,
I might have left before him. I'd have been in before him.
So, anyways, we get off to it. It's going to be tough for us. Anyway, we all the agents are on to him, and he calls. We're playing Arsenal the next day. Never forget it. We actually beat them 2-1.
We should just say that what an achievement it was, though. By the way. Getting promoted, getting to be playing in those places, It was an incredible achievement.
It was a great, So we beat Wolves the last game of the season, which was great. But we played. Obviously, it's going to be difficult in the Premier League. But we're playing Arsenal next day. This is a funny story. It wasn't funny at the time. He calls you up again and goes, he knows our ranking's probably not good enough now. So he's got me a new striker. He said, George Cadet. I went, George Cadet. Well, he played at Celtic. He went, yeah, he scored goals. I went, yeah, but that was 3 years ago. He hasn't played since. I went, it's like a certain player fits a club, doesn't it?
Yeah.
George Cadet was blonde there, ain't going to fit Bradford. We haven't got a training ground to call our own, right? So I said, no. I said, he won't fit him. He's coming and leaves Bradford tonight at 9 o'clock. Make sure you pick him up.
He'd done the deal. It was signed.
So I drive the car. So I'm thinking, again, I'm biting my lips. So George Cadet, I'm not. He comes out, he's got an agent and a solicitor with him. I went, George Cadet? He went, yeah. So I get in the car, don't speak to him, take him to the hotel.
I tell you what was interesting there, you didn't even know it was him, you had to ask him.
I knew it was him. Took him to the hotel, dropped him off. And this is mad, this. You can't write this. Played the game, beat Arsenal 2-1. So I go up to the boardroom after the game. Jeffrey's there, he's got George Cadet with 2 agents. And I see them whispering and all that, and I said to what are you talking about? He went, you're a coach? I went, yeah. He thought I was a taxi driver. It's gospel true. Oh, well, he won't last long.
Well, even funnier still, he didn't know George Cadet, and George Cadet didn't know him.
Honestly, God, he went, taxi driver. So I give him half a game against Man Utd, and he was on his way. But that game, it was funny because we had lost. Well, it wasn't funny. We had lost 4-0 at Coventry. When you talk about Coventry now, they had Dublin, they had Huckabee, McAllister. No, it might have been Strachan. Yeah. Good side. Paul Telfer, all them.
Yeah.
They beat us 4-0. So Jeffrey had me, wanted to see me Monday morning, and I go in, he had all these A4 pieces of, again, it's mad this, 4 pieces of paper, or arrows, X's and all that. So he goes, you don't listen to me, you listen to Terry Orr too much and Chris Hutchins. I said, okay, I'm sat there, and he goes, character assassination. He said, you're never off Sky. I said, I can't get on for you. And he went, anyway, he says, chairman's thoughts. He put his glasses on. He says, Man Utd Saturday. Man Utd treble winners at home. I said, yeah. He says, bear with me. He said, just chairman's thoughts. He said, I think we should go at them 4-4-2. Go a goal up, maybe 2. I'm sat there looking at him. He goes, Fergie ain't going to be happy. Should have got to come at us. And he gets these other hours. He goes, and then we go 4-5-1. Sheer off till half time. They're going to come in.
Sorry, I just got to shut my mouth. I'm sat here like this with my mouth out listening.
This way. So you go, listen, it gets better. He goes, they're going to get their dry treatment at half time off Eggy. He said, yes, they're going to come at us. We'll go 5-4-1. Keep it tight for 20 minutes. As they tire, revert back to 4-4-2 and maybe get another goal. What do you think? I said, give me them piece. He said, I'll have a look around training tomorrow, Chairman. I said, this is where you got to think on your feet.
That is good management rather than saying no, because
exactly. So I went, brilliant idea. I said, 3 systems I've got to play. Yeah, I'll have a look and will you? I went,
let him think you're interested.
Correct. So I went out, right in the shredder in my office. Next day, he couldn't wait for you to come in. He went, how'd it go? And Chairman, great idea, but he just couldn't grasp it. And he said, well, at least you've listened to me. I thought,
can I have my papers back?
Yeah. So, I said, keep that for next week. But in those days, Mick, I think the chairman was the owner. He was like,
he was, yeah.
There was no chief execs.
Hands-on.
So you had to you have to manage upwards, didn't you? Do you know what I mean? Anyway, I don't want to sound too harsh on him because it was a good ground. He gave me an opportunity. I think I paid him back.
You know what? You must have had a good relationship with him anyway, because it was a success, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, tell what he taught me. The most important relationship in a football club is between you and the chairman.
Well,
that's probably changed now because
I had that with
execs.
Mr. Burr when I was at Millwall, my first job.
And
I think about some of the things that was said and what happened, but he supported me. And if you haven't got that support, you are in trouble.
Yeah, sure.
So I had a coach at Bristol Rovers when I was just a young lad, and I can remember sitting on a train. We went off to Norwich to catch us in the reserves. Bill Dodgin, he was a wonderful man, and he was talking about his experiences he'd managed in Italy and everything else, and he said to me, those silly buggers upstairs, when you go to board meetings, just nod your head and agree with everything they say, and as soon as you go out of that door and close the door, do what you think is right.
Yeah, well, that takes some...
And then it's all down to you.
By the way, that's good advice to a young manager, because it's hard. You're competitive as a young footballer.
Yeah.
You're only 35, maybe coming up to 40.
I was 32.
All right.
Was you 32 then?
33,
I'm the same when I get the Millwall job, and I'm still...
You think you know nothing really.
Yeah, but that aggressive, competitive, you want to have your say, you want to tell them the way you want to do it. Yeah. To say, I think that's a good idea, I'll take it away and think about it. That comes with age. That comes with maturity. That comes with experience. That doesn't come with
my chairman
being
at
young
Bournemouth,
and angry.
Norman Haywood, who's a great fellow. We used to have a board meeting on a Friday. And he used to have a meeting with me first to tell me what they were going to say. He used to say, Mick, and whatever you do, don't argue with them.
Correct.
Just keep your mouth shut, nod, and then we'll talk about it afterwards.
Well, to be fair, we used to have a board meeting every day because I was like 3-4 hours. But Lenny Lawrence said to me, he rang me up. I rang Lenny up and I just after got the job. And because Lenny was manager before Cammy, and I rang Lenny up and he just laughed. He went, his words were, I'll never forget it. You were a bright player. He says, you're going to have to be double bright as a manager. And I only ever had one board meeting in my life. That was Sheffield Wednesday. And they were all sat around the table. I wanted to sign Ian Bishop from, I think it was Man City.
Yeah.
And there was 8 directors. 4 said yes and 4 said no. So I thought, what's all this about? Do you know what I mean?
Former committee to design a horse, mate.
Exactly.
You get the camel, definitely.
So I think that certainly from as far as I was concerned, I didn't have too many on board meetings.
Yeah.
But with Jeffrey, you had to be bright because he was a clever fella.
Yeah.
And he was always coming at you, and what he'd do is suck you in really slow and then go bang.
Yeah. It's interesting. You're talking about him now. You learnt a lot off him, didn't you?
Yeah, absolutely.
It was an education for you.
Absolutely.
Some good, some bad, some different. I would imagine most of it was good because you ended up being a real success.
And he was such a clever man, you know what I mean? He was such clever. Whereas I was a bit art on my sleeve and show. He would never show his hand.
Yeah, but the other thing that's significant about this is that he's talking to the main man.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah.
There's no one.
There's
no chief executive.
No one in between.
I preferred that all.
Well, no, I say now all the time. People ring me up and say, "What would you do if you went into management again?" And I'd say, "I'd bring someone in above me who looks after the noise. Who looks after that up to the chairman. I'll do all the stuff on the football pitch.
Yeah.
But there's so many people now in between the manager or the coach and the owner is frightening, Paul.
It is, and I think
they're all batting for themselves at
well,
times.
I think there's so many good young managers that go by the wayside because when I left Ipswich, I said to Marcus Evans, who was a brilliant chairman. I don't know
He
if you
was,
got on with
yeah, he was
great. I said, he said, what are you going to do? I said, you know, I'd really like a job where it probably doesn't exist, where I've probably had enough of management at the minute. He says, you know, where I can help a young manager. I said, because there's so much stuff that takes your energy away.
Yeah, but the thing is, Paul, the thing that strikes me more than anything else, I'm not so sure the director of football or the chief executive actually wants a football man in that position.
Because
you know too much.
Marcus,
you know more than them.
Marcus said that's not going to happen. So, but funny enough, I was Swindon. It happened at Swindon because Lee Power, I played with Lee at Bradford, and he rang me up and he said, I want you to take the Swindon job. I said, not for me, Lee. I said, give it to Richie Wellens, because I was at Oldham for a couple of months, and I said, he's brilliant. He said, they just got relegated. I said, trust me, he's good. He's a good coach. He works hard, knows what he's talking about. He's opinionated. He said, well, you have to come in with him. I said, I don't really want to do that. He said, well, just come in as a direct footballer. So anyway, I said, well, you'll have to ask Richie if he's okay with it. And Lee said, look, Richie, don't worry about Paul taking your job, because I've offered it to him first and he told me to give it to you. So it was perfect. So Richie knew I had no...
I just feel there's an insecurity with, not all chief executives. I've worked with some really, really good chief executives, but the directors of football, Mick, who are not football people, they'll look at a football person coming in and thinking, he might be questioning what I'm doing and what I'm not doing.
The director of football might be overseeing a guy who has got he might have played at the highest level. He may well have had 700 games as a manager, and you've got a director of football who comes in and he's managing him.
Yeah.
You know, people with experience.
Well, the way I looked at it with Richie, I said to him, because I mean, when we look back at all our careers, especially when we're younger, I think sometimes you're embarrassed when you look back what you said and what you did. Yeah. And I think, I said to Richie, I said, look, mate, there's some mistakes I think you have to make. Yeah. But the ones I'm trying to stop you, the avoidable ones that I made, you lost 5-0 and you're going straight to the press conference and you're giving it to the players. If someone had said to me, Paul, have you got 10 minutes just to calm down? I know what you want to say, but what you want to say probably isn't
quite clear. You think there is room for that people like you, that experience of a manager like you, that's not gone and done a course at a university or something that's got to do it. It's somebody who's
made them mistakes.
It's being bright enough. When I went into the Premiership, I never ever did my interview after the game before the other manager. I'd wait for the other manager to talk about the game. I'd have someone listening, and he would talk to me. He'd tell me what he said before I went into my... But
I was thinking more about Derby.
And it's just little things like that you go... And big defeats.
Yeah.
You've got to take a step back because your emotions...
Yeah, and that's what I mean. The mistakes I made was I was probably too on it. I'm thinking... And I always said, people say, oh, you're throwing in players under a bus. Well, yeah, but I was always part of that because I picked the team. So, the players... I think everyone knows the players weren't good enough. And I put myself in that category because I was the manager. Yeah. So you have to take,
responsibility.
You have to do, absolutely. But sometimes you think, I always think those supporters on the terraces, no, they're not stupid, are they? So if I go in and go, I see some interviews now thinking, well, that didn't happen. I've just watched that game and that didn't happen. Yeah. But you can't tell the truth. If you tell the truth, you're vilified. I remember Tim Sherwood, who was managing Tottenham. And I liked him, mate of mine. And they got beat at Chelsea. And he ruined it. He said, they won't even care on that bus. A texter went, spot on, mate. That's the wrong thing to say.
No.
You know what I mean? Because the supporters then go, oh, he's going to lose the dressing room. And the players are on the phones and the social media and all that. So it was different in my day, in our day. It was different. You've managed, obviously, you two have managed a bit nearer than I have. Yeah. But, if you went into the game now, I couldn't be the same manager. I'd have to have the fundamentals the same.
You caught the end of my career, the social media.
Yeah.
But,
but it's just how you speak to players. I remember getting asked for Liverpool reserves once against Sheffield Wednesday. And I remember because Kenny was coming back from a bad injury and he played up front with me. And I scored the last 15 minutes. And as I walked in, Joe Fagan's looking at me like that. Ronnie Moran's looking at me like that. And Roy Evans looking at me like that. I'm thinking, who's behind me? There's no one. And he went, you little, I won't tell you what they call me. I bet you think you've done well today. He absolutely ruined me. He said, 3 goals. That's not good enough. You didn't do this, you didn't do that. And what he was saying was, you might get away with it in Liverpool reserves, but if you're trying to get in a big team, that's not good enough.
With it, yeah.
And you know, and I
lessons, weren't they?
Paul, how honest were they, though?
Yeah, but it was true. They were right. And so I didn't go home and cry in my milk. I went, okay. Maybe when I look back, I thought, it would have been nice if Ronnie McNamara said to me the next day, could finish though the second one. You know what I mean? But that's Liverpool. I'm thinking, if you can't handle a stick, you're not going to be able to, not that I was ever good enough, but if you play in the first team, if you can't play in front of 50,000, you've got no chance. So that's what he was saying.
The Managers with Mick and Tony is powered by BOYLE Sports, the home of the early payout. And why is BOYLE Sports the home of the early payout? I hear you ask. Well, with BOYLE Sports, if your team goes 2 goals up, you win. Job done, you're getting paid out. Singles, ACCAs, bet builders, it's all covered. And this also means that we need to reconsider some crucial games across your careers, Mick and Tony. In fact, I'm going to take you back to the Britannia Stadium, Halloween 2009, the first time Mick McCarthy meets Tony Pulis in the Premier League. Stoke go 2-0 up, but Mick, your Wolves team come back, draw 2-2, and I'm sorry, Mick, I'm taking the point off you. Because of BOYLE Sports' new laws, I'm afraid Stoke won that game. Congratulations, Tony.
Thank you.
There you go. So get paid out as a winner if your team goes 2 goals ahead, even if they go on to win, lose or draw. 90 minutes only, applies to singles and multiples. 18 plus, T's and C's apply. Back yourself with BOYLE Sports, the home of the early payout. Head to boylesports.com or download the app to find out more.
And you kept Bradford up.
Beat Liverpool last game of the season.
Last game of the season.
Yeah.
Well, I can always imagine how it felt, because you've had good victories in the time. But for you, how was that? That must have been amazing.
Do you know, it was like Liverpool going to the Champions League.
Yeah.
Liverpool, and I think we beat them 1-0. And I knew that my relationship with the chairman was coming to a bit of a sticking, because we went to Sunderland. We really be manager.
Really,
and we
when was it? 99.
99 was it?
2000, May 2000.
We beat Sunderland 1-0. John Dreyer scored.
Oh, yeah.
Tumble.
Yeah.
And beat them 1-0. And Jeffrey wanted me to play Isaiah Rankin that day, and I played Dean Saunders.
He was desperate for it, wasn't he?
and I played Dean Saunders, and so he didn't. He always called me after the game, but he didn't call me. So I knew
something was happening.
I could see and I thought, do you know what? Anyway, so we beat Liverpool, which was a brilliant achievement. They were going for the Champions League, and actually we probably done.
You denied them a Champions League spot.
And Leeds got in. It's probably the worst thing that happened to Leeds, because they overspent and all that. But it was a great day, and then I got a call on the way home of someone from Sheffield Wednesday. And I was in a car, with 2 kids, and he said, "Well done." He said, "Would you like to be our manager?" I said, "Not really." I said, "Because you've got relegated, and we just stayed up, even though I was a bit edgy." Anyway, 2 days later, chairman took me for dinner, got the lunch, got the champagne out. And he went, "Well, I think you've had a bad season." He said to me, "We lost 5-4 at West Ham, which we were 4-2 up." That was when DeCanio was sitting on the pitch, remember? He wanted to come up. I'm saying, "Take him off, Harry, take him off." Harry's brilliant again, just blanking him. "Yeah, he'll get up. And he's got him and Lampard, fucking 2 of them thrown. He said, "You've had a bad season." He said, "We drew with Derby 4-4. I said, "Okay." I said, "Well, I think I've done okay in the end." I said, "And there's the list of players." I said, "We've done brilliant. We need some young legs in the team for next year." And he went, got his list out. It was like Collymore, Petrescu. I said, "They're all good players, but they ain't going to come here."
And
said,
have you got the money to buy them?
Well, he did, didn't he? I said, "And by the way, we're going in the Intertoto Cup." I said, "When?" He said, "July." I said, "I'm on my holidays." I went, "These lads are absolutely knackered." You know, it's like, Mick, it takes either. I said, "These lads," we called Dad's Army because we had an old team, you know. I said, "They're absolutely on the feet. The last thing they need is to be playing in the Toto Cup in early June or July." Anyway, I rang back to Sheffield Wednesday. I said, "Look, if you..." I said to them at the time, "No, I'm happy." And I thought, I can't stay here with him.
So I've got a question here. Then you left for relegated Sheffield Wednesday. I have to say at the time, it seemed a strange move. Why did you decide to go?
Yeah, well, there you go.
That's answered that question. Go on, tell us. Again,
a brilliant club, Sheffield Wednesday, as we all know. It's terrible to say this now. I didn't want to leave Bradford, but I just knew that the relationship with the chairman was coming to an end. There's no way Collymore wasn't a good player. Petrescu, they're all good players, but they didn't fit. it didn't fit. They were only coming for one reason. I know players,
for the money.
They love the money. So I ran Sheffield Wednesday and he said, actually, we're going to give it to Joe Kinnear. And then Joe, again, God rest his soul, he changed his mind. So I went, they came back for me. So I went, and as soon as I went in, I knew, I mean, I've had 2 successes and 3 failures, the way I look at my career.
All right.
And I think I looked at the team that we had, and I always remember Jewell the builder. Do you remember him?
Yeah.
He came to me, he said to me, why have you come here? I went, this is Sheffield Wednesday. Look at this. He went, why have you come here? I mean, he didn't care. Wim Jonk, was a great player, but he didn't really want to be there. Gerald Sabon.
Isn't it interesting that you say that? You can tell them, can't you, straight away?
Yeah, well, Vim...
And if you've got them players, if you've got those players that don't want to be there, well, the first thing you're doing, you're trying to get shut of them. But it's not always easy to get shut of them either.
In those days,
enormous money, yeah.
Wim Jonk, who was obviously an international player, and if we played at first game, I should have smelt it out. First game, my managerial career at Sheffield Wednesday is at Wolves on a Sunday in the Championship. And we kicked off, and 11 seconds later, my goalie was sent off. And we had kick-off. We had kick-off.
So tell us how, please. Tell me how.
Look, I still don't know to this day. So we kicked off, passed it back to the goalie, left it short. The goalie, Kevin Presman sent off. We actually got a 1-1 draw. I don't know how, but we did. I remember, so Gilles de Bill come up to me, and you would never say this as a player. We say, Gaffer, you should have probably bought me off. Because I had to bring Cressy off, you know, Richie Creswell, after 10 seconds.
Yeah.
No, put a foot wrong.
Yeah.
And I brought him off, and I should have, and he said, you should have brought me off. But anyway, Wim Jonk played then and played Huddersfield at home. And he was obviously a very good player international. So he took it, he went, my groins, no good. So, okay, he never played. And I'm not talking out of school. He had in his contract, he had a good contract, but he had £5,000 appearance money, whether he played or not. Now that's disappearance money to me.
I know. We just mentioned that appearance money going back, like saying how it was so important. We do say now. Do you think the players are relying on their appearance money now? The £200? I doubt it.
No, but this is £5 grand.
£5 grand.
But Mick, he got it whether he played or not. The only reason way, yes, that's why I call it disappearance money.
Disappearance, yeah.
The only way he couldn't get it, is if I left him out. But he was injured. So if he was injured, he got it. He never kicked another ball all season, you know. And I mean, he was any wonder
Sheffield Wednesday then were struggling when somebody's actually given somebody that contract?
Yeah, I mean, there was unbelievable contracts
above the manager and players. You know what I mean?
It was the contracts there, and I think they were in. I think it was Charterhouse, who was the venture capitalist who went for them. But it was just again, Ipswich, Derby, and Sheffield Wednesday, 3 fantastic, brilliant football clubs with unbelievable good support, great facilities. You know, it just didn't happen for me at Sheffield Wednesday. I think there's mitigating circumstances, certainly for that one and Derby.
Well, I think you gave me a mention to get that job, didn't you?
Yeah, I did.
Thank you. I had 6.5 great years there, mate.
Yeah.
Forget about the negative. Let's get on to Wigan.
All right, yeah, Wigan.
Go on, tell us about it.
Well, I didn't start great. I've got a habit of not starting great. So Dave Whelan, I think he sacked Bruce Rayach after 26 games unbeaten. So, oh, fuck yeah. So I think he did. He drew too many, I think. I think he was. So I was obviously being a player there, and then.
Have you ever lost 11 on the bounce?
Yeah, I think I'm at it. I don't think so.
I went to Sunderland, I lost 9 in the Premier League, and then I lost the next 2 in the Championship.
Did you know?
11 on the bounce.
So that run wasn't that bad.
That wasn't that bad.
No.
So I feel your pain, mate.
Yeah.
I feel your pain.
So I went to Wigan, and again, typical me, tried to change too much too soon because they were on good money for that level, you know, and I just saw a real bad dressing rooms, people just there not caring, and I tried to again, you know,
too quickly.
Try to change the world too much. You're no good. You won't play. Yeah. You're no good. And look around and thinking.
Not many left.
Not left, yeah.
6-a-side's difficult, isn't it, in these championships?
And got off to a bad start. Got beat by Canvey Island in the FA Cup at home. So everyone's thinking, you're getting a sack here. Anyway, we played Wrexham in, I think it's called broken windscreens or whatever. We lost 5-1 at Wrexham. And next day, as we were saying, run around the track. So I remember going home thinking, what am I going to do? So I rang Dave. I said, Dave, I want to transfer list these 6 players. I won't name the 6 players. He went, no problem if you want to do that. I said, but once you do it, there's no going back. I said, just, you feel you need to do something.
Yeah.
He said, are they in today? I said, yeah, they are. He said, where are they? I said, they're running around the track. He said, do you want me to have a word with them? I thought, you know what? I'm almost at the end of my tether here. Why not? So he comes to the game, and because the chairman don't speak to players, he comes in the dressing room. He goes, "All right, lads, bad result last night." He went, "The boss." He always called me the boss. The boss is staying, by the way. He said, "So if anyone doesn't want to play for them, leave your boots there. Come and see me. We'll sort you out."
Wow.
So I followed him out to the dressing room. I went, "Thanks for that, chairman." He said, "This is November time." He said, "Don't worry about it." I said, "Make sure we stay up this year. And if you're not in the top 6 by next Christmas, you won't be here." So that gave me...
good.
By the Christmas, we weren't in the top 6. We were 10 points clear. Because it gave me that clear... I think we've got a bit of time to sort it out here. Get rid of what I would call...
That's great management by him.
Brilliant. Brilliant.
Yeah. So we talk with managers. We talk about management. They manage us.
Yeah.
They manage you. We
don't become multi-millionaires.
We manage upwards to them, but they manage.
Yeah.
The best ones do.
They do, yeah. On my back, and it's easy to back the manager when you're top of the league, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And you've seen it. We've all seen it. And he said to me, "You got a year. If not, you won't be here." I thought, that'll do me, because if I can't sort this out in a year, I don't deserve to be here.
Yeah.
And so then you can start giving Leighton Baines a chance rather than putting someone experienced there who is going to let you down.
Yeah,
so if Baines makes a mistake, he's going to learn from it. Yeah. Whereas the lad who's played
a million games,
and keeps on making the same mistake and doesn't really care. So that gave me my head was clear, and then the next 5 years were just great. 6 years,
brilliant.
I had Peter Coates would always ring me. Would never ring me when we won.
Yeah.
Would always ring me when we lost.
Yeah.
And I rang him the one day. We had a great result somewhere, and I said, "Peter, you never ring when we win." And he said, "No, I know you're all right when we win.
Yeah.
It's when we lose." That's
nice.
He was a good old school Peter Coates, wasn't he? You know what I mean?
Fabulous.
And getting promoted to the Premier League then.
Did you? I think was you get promoted as well that year?
Yeah,
we were second.
So we came down and played you just near the end of the season, and your stand was full of Sunderland.
Yeah.
It was
Did you beat us 1-0?
We did. I didn't want to mention it.
I thought you would.
I thought you might remember it though, because
let me tell you,
I remember all the defeats.
Because why?
Just to rub salt into the
room. No, because I remember
we turned up and beat them 2-0 when I was at Stoke. Remember? Was it Roberts? Who else did you have up front?
Ellington and Roberts.
Ellington and Roberts.
What Mick forgets to tell you is the following season in the big league we beat them 1-0. After 17 seconds, we battered them for 17 seconds.
He's never mentioned that, Paul.
Strangely enough.
Yeah. But so that we had Ellington and Roberts. We had a good side.
In the big league, everybody battered us. I was sacked by February.
We didn't bat you. We batted you for 17 seconds.
I was gone. I remember ringing my mate. He says, "What?" I said I'd given up drink for Lent, and so I rang him up, and he said, "What's wrong?" It was up in Sunderland. He said, "Are you still off?" I said, "2 things." He said, "What's that?" I said, "I've been sacked." He said, "What's the other thing?" I said, I'm not off the drink for Lent." He said, "Brilliant, I'll meet you in the pub." I know, but they were great because it was ourselves, you, and West Ham. Was it West Ham?
Good team.
The year we never went up.
Yeah.
Is West Ham.
Right,
Brian Dean scored the last minute to knock us out the playoff spots, put Crystal Palace in.
Oh, that was the year before, was it?
Yeah, they were a great run Ian Dowie.
Right.
Yeah. Because we beat Palace at home 5-0. Steve Kemba was manager. He sacked him after that, Simon Jordan. He gave it to Ian.
We lost to Palace when I was at Sunderland the year before. We got knocked out by Palace, and of course it was Ian Dowie that got them, having come in, they were in the bottom of 3.
That's right.
And got them promoted. That was a fabulous
That was the year
season
we finished 7th that year.
Yeah.
Following year, you won.
We
came second.
That's right. That's it.
So that's how it was. I don't know who else came up that year. I can't remember. It might have been
what was your team, Paul?
In that league, in that championship team?
No, the championship. And how did you change it in the Premier League? What did you do?
It's interesting because, again, Dave Whelan being dead bright, we didn't know, with all respect, you can't just throw everything out that you've that's got you. We've had 2 years or 3 years of success, really. Second League One to Championship, good year in the Championship, because everyone thought we'd get relegated from the Championship. So we finished 7th, then we came 2nd, and we had that winning. You know what it's like, you've been at clubs, you have that winning, and then someone comes through the door, they go, I remember Jimmy Bullard coming first day.
I was going to ask you about Jimmy Bullard.
Someone grabbed hold of him and don't do it like that, Jim. Don't upset him. If you upset him, it's going to upset everything here. Because we had it well drilled, you know what I mean? This was, and they were great. I loved. It's great, isn't it, when you got a team like that. Same at Bradford, you go in, you don't want a day off because you want to be with them all the time.
And the players don't want to leave
no,
early,
it's
do
just
they?
great. We have to drag them off the train.
They manage themselves, don't they? Then
brilliant.
To a point, you know, you have to step in, but they're doing it. Yeah.
But Jimmy was great for me. Don't get me wrong, but I think as Matt Jackson pulled him, no, Jim, this is how we do it. He was brilliant for me, Jimmy. So we had John Fowler. You always need a good goalkeeper, don't you? Fowler was a good goalie. John Fowler. We had Nicky Eden, who was great at right back. Jacko and Ian Brecken, centre halves. The Zoo had left to go, but he came back in the Premier League. Then we had Steve McMillan and Leighton Baines. Baines, he was different class. Lee McCulloch, when I first went to Wigan, I could see Lee McCulloch. He'd come from Motherwell for 750 grand, powerful, fantastic athlete, had all the tools, I'd say. But you know, I had the impression he didn't want to be the main, he didn't want to have the pressure to score goals. So
did you have is Andy Little with you then?
Lids was there, yeah.
Lids
great,
great mate of mine,
yeah,
Lids.
great
Great player,
yeah. So I moved him out because to left wing, but he was never a left winger. A bit like, you know, Ray Kennedy type thing, where you could hit the diagonal and he'd come and he'd give the right back different problems. And again, a bit like the Wigan team, we had a proper flying winger
Bradford team.
Are you telling me that you'd hit a diagonal above his head so he'd come on and win it in the air?
Yeah, that's great.
From left to right,
yeah.
I don't see that anymore now. It's stick somebody on the fullback and say,
killing the game.
Two
dinosaurs.
Yeah. Only ever played
3 dinosaurs. Come on.
So we had Teely one side and we had Jimmy Bullard and we had Jason Jarrett, who were both from Bury, who was a great buy. And I brought Cav in as well, just to see his overline. And we had Ellington and Roberts up front. With Neil, also, we had Neil Roberts. And Ellington and Roberts were just unplayable. They were just, they fed off each other. Powerful, quick. I think
they both played at Bristol Rovers.
Yes.
Ollie had them.
Ollie. And I think Jason scored his first touch after at Preston. You don't get to a better start, 10 seconds, and he was brilliant for us. And we just again, I didn't rotate. It was the same team every week. If I'd left someone out, they'd kick your door.
Isn't it great? He said, they used to manage themselves when it's like that. So even when you're talking to you can see how enthused you were.
I love being around with them.
Still now, you're still saying, I'd talk about my Wolves team or the Sunderland team that'll get promoted. Teams that you've had a success with. When you start remembering it puts a smile on your face. It's brilliant.
It's the best job in the world, isn't it? I remember Nicky Eden was coming off the training pitch on the Thursday. And I said to Ian Brex, after you've had a shower, come and see me. You're getting that. You're getting it. So I never ever went in the dressing room because you just let them.
No, that's right. Yeah.
I thought,
that was their domain.
Yeah. I went in to see one of the lads. One of the secretary wanted to see him, and as we've gone in, Nicky's in the shower and he doesn't know it that I'm in the dressing room, and he's going, Brex, tell the gaffer it's always the same old thing, that Scouts be and all that. He's watching them doing this thing. So, and the lads are like that because they're going, it's always the same people. It's never anyone else. It's always the same.
I can't imagine they told him. They just did the say, what
no, because I'm stood there and they can't see.
Oh, I see.
And they're going, tell him to load up. I expect you to. So I just walked into the shower and I'm looking at him. He's got soap suds in his eyes and like that. And he went, all right, Gaffer. I said, come see me after the show. And we had a laugh about it. Do you know what I mean? Because it was so funny. When but I've got so much.
If you'd have been in the dressing room, you would have been going, he's a right.
That's what I'm saying.
What
was it you said about the Gaffer? What was it? He said what? I know you would have wound him up.
But that was what you were like, and they if anyone stepped, as you said there, when you got that dressing room running itself in a good way.
The Managers with Mick and Tony is powered by BOYLE Sports, the home of the early payout. And why is BOYLE Sports the home of the early payout, I hear you ask? Well, with BOYLE Sports, if the team you back goes 2 goals up, you win, job done, you're getting paid out. Singles, ACCAs, bet builders, it's all covered. And this means we need to reconsider a crucial game in your career, Tony. I'm talking, of course, about the 1999 playoff final when your Gillingham team were 2 goals up with 5 minutes to play. Obviously, that means, in the eyes of BOYLE Sports, you have now won the Second Division playoff final, 1999. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
And also, West Ham won the 2006 FA Cup final, which is great. And commiserations to Liverpool for not winning the 2005 Champions League. And obviously, now Gillingham have won the 1999 Second Division playoff final. Commiserations to Nicky Weaver and Manchester City. Yes, get paid out as a winner if your team goes 2 goals ahead, even if they win, lose or draw. 90 minutes only, applies to singles and multiples. 18 plus, T's and C's apply. Back yourself with BOYLE Sports, the home of the early payout. Head to boylesports.com or download the app to find out more.
So what do you think? I've worked in the Championship and then the Premier League. What's the difference?
Night and day, innit?
We'll go through it. What
Pace.
you
Well,
think?
everyone. I remember Alan Kirby saying to me when I think when Charn got relegated, we got promoted at Bradford. He went, "Whoever's your fastest will be your fastest player. Their slowest will be as quick as them." And I remember we played Arsenal, second game of the season at Highbury, and we were quite a big side. Weatherall, O'Brien, Walshy, and they came out. Tony, Adams, Seaman, Keown, Dixon's like 5'11", Ray Parlour, and then Henri 6'3", Vieira, Petit, fucking over
Let me
Mars
tell
like
you, there's none of them petite in that team. They were all huge.
Davos Suker, he played. And I looked at them, I thought, and he beat us 2-0. This is how mad it is. They battered us. They scored from a penalty.
Yeah.
And they scored from one of our corners.
Yeah.
Because I thought, after that, you play Arsenal, I'm thinking, don't even cross it. Just kick it out, give them a goal. Because he used to catch his seam. It's like the Red Arrows, wasn't it? You know what I mean?
We used to always, and well, I've stayed with it all my life. We've always swung corners in.
Yeah.
Never swung them out.
No.
If you swing them
go
out.
towards your goal, aren't you? Yeah. But that was the power.
What about the quality?
Three things stood out. The athleticism, the quality, and the brains.
Yeah.
Well, it says here that the first game was so memorable, losing to Mourinho's Chelsea.
Well, I was at Wigan, yeah.
Yeah, last minute screamer by Hernan Crespo. Well, you still remember it?
You know, I feel I can remember it. So we should have beaten them, actually. So I go on the grounds, and no disrespect to Wigan, we'd have. First time you touch your brake was in the car park, and there's crowds everywhere. I'm thinking, this is great. There's thousands outside the game. So park my car park. Yeah, I went, Paul Jewell. He's looking, fucking, every week I used to have it. Okay, go on then. So I walked, I'm thinking, but they're all waiting for the Chelsea bus, right? So I go in, put my trackie on, Reebok Classics or whatever it is, me fleecy bottoms and all that. Anyway, so I'm walking, I used to have a little room, just walking, I'd hear all these screams, and Drogba comes, earplugs in, Terry, Lampard, Cole, 2 Coles, Crespo, the whole shebang. And then Mourinho walks in behind him, he's got his suit on, tie undone, but still looks cool, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Unshaven, but still looks cool. I'm thinking, best team in Europe. He's probably on 10 million quid a year. Good looking. I mean, does anything ever go wrong for him? So we played the game. We played really well. We missed a great opportunity to win it in 90th minute. Peter Cech takes the goal kick, comes to Crespo, he sticks it right in the top corner. Polly's like that, right in the top. He comes over to me and puts his arm around me. You did not deserve that. You know what you just want to say to him?
Yeah, I know.
I went, all right. Anyway, so we go in, the managers and those. I said, Jose, come in for a drink afterwards. Okay, I'm sat there, lower in a snake's belly. One thing we did have at Wigan, we had a good spread after the game,
Yeah.
So he comes in and he said, you didn't deserve your team's good. I said, the guy who was looking after says, Mr. Mourinho, would you like a drink? Or take a beer. And I'm looking at, he's even drinking his beer cool, right? He's just cool. And then he looks at the table, goes, what have we got to eat here? So the guy's going, he's got some salad, he's got some chicken, we've got some this, some pasta. What are these? These are Wigan pies. I'll take one of them.
And he was cool eating that and all, was he?
Oh, he bit it. went right down his shirt, right, all mince, and
All
it was
the
red
gravy.
hot. It was red hot. He was squealing like a pig. I went, the ears of God, you know. So I said to Kim, exactly. I said to Kim, I'm going to get one of them Patrick t-shirts, send them over. But
well, we played him at Chelsea, and we went in after well beaten we were, and we're all concerned about the results. I talk football. He was more concerned with booking one of the best restaurants in London. He was getting somebody to book.
Yeah.
Try and book that place. Try and book
I
this
always
place.
found him good.
Oh, he was
good value.
He was great.
I fell out
Good
with him
value.
at the away game because
You fall out with everyone.
I do, yeah. I know, yeah. It's the way it is,
It's
Mick,
easy,
innit?
isn't it, Paul?
Yeah,
to be
it's just
fair?
it was not hard, is it? We went up there
He's
and
not left yet, by the way.
yeah, typical winner, like, you know. So they beat us 1-0. John Terry scored from the corner. McCulloch lost them, never forget it. And we kicked the ball out, which does my head in, that, by the way. You know, kicking the ball out, and they didn't throw it back to us. Which, by the way, I remember Ferguson sent when we were managers. Ferguson sent an email out to everyone. We will not be kicking the ball out for you. If you do, we won't be throwing it back to you.
Yeah.
I think it killed.
Oh no,
yeah,
it's quite
let's
right.
do
Yeah,
it.
kicking the ball.
Yeah.
out,
Yeah, but he was adamant, and so I thought, you know what, you fall out with him because you're losing, don't you? But you think that's why he's a winner, isn't he? You know what I mean?
Oh,
he's not going to give it to
serial
Little
winner.
Wigan.
Fabulous,
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Kicked him while
whenever
it's
in his company, he's great.
Oh, yeah, he's always all right.
And we all want to win. We all get angry when we lose. We
Yeah.
all get angry when things are going against us, or somebody does something that you think is upset the apple cart a little bit. So, but he's good at doing all of that.
Yeah, he's brilliant.
Players you had at Wigan, who was the most difficult, who was the most flamboyant, who was the most trouble?
We want the funny stories. Tell the funny ones.
I didn't have a lot of trouble, to be honest, because after the story, after the first season, we sorted out. But one Jimmy Bullard, obviously people like to hear Jimmy's stories. But fun enough, we were playing Chelsea, that game I'm talking about. So we'd had this game, and I was never a big rotate man, because I looked at we started the season great. After the Chelsea game in Charlton, we won 8 out of the last 9 or something. And we were second in the league. My mate said, take a photograph of that because it's not getting any better. I said, you're not wrong. Anyway, so we had something like Tottenham at home, Arsenal at home, Chelsea away, Man United away, Liverpool at home. So I said, I got them in. I went, I don't normally do this, but I have to get in my own mind. The game after that was Charlton at home. I thought, if we beat Charlton, we'll go 17 points. And I'm still thinking fourth bottom.
Relegation.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So I went, lads, I'm going to rotate a bit. Don't come see me. Just leave it. You know, you're not dropped. I'm going to, these games take it, you take it out of you, don't you? You're at your maximum, you're going to be flat out. So I think the first game I left a cav out at Man United. Not happy, but took it. Anyway, I'm doing on a Thursday, so I was doing my team play on a Thursday. Team played Chelsea, so I got to them, Jimmy's not in it. So goes upstairs, didn't think anything about it. Knock on there. All right, Kev. You know, he's like, I said, all right, Jim, what can I do for you? That's a team then for Saturday. But yeah, he went, fucking right. He started ranting and raving. I haven't been in work all my life to be in the Premier League and on a bench at Chelsea. Anyway, I said, calm down anyway. He got a bit leery, so I jumped over the desk. He tried to get out, and as he opened the door, I closed the door on his head. and I went, if you don't get out this office, I'm going to break you. I can't remember what I said. And he shouted, Bill Green. Remember Bill Green?
Bill.
But that's interesting that you saying if you don't get out of this office. He was trying to get out of the office when you dragged him back and squashed his head in the door.
And he's shouting, Bill, help. So and I threw him down the stairs or whatever. And next day, he didn't speak to me. But I put on last 20 minutes. But you know what? You move on, don't you?
Yeah.
And I admired him in lots of ways for wanting to play because he's worked hard.
Yeah.
Sometimes you want to play just to see, look, there's a bigger picture here. The bigger picture was the Charlton game. And by the way, for all the games that you played for me at Wigan, that was the only time he never played 90 minutes. Do you know what I mean?
Really?
Yeah.
So he was a brilliant lad. He was fit.
Was he good round the dressing room?
Yeah, well,
With the players?
Well, he was great. But now that I've left and I see some of the players, we have, you know, we play golf. They tell me some of the stories. I said, lads, I do not want to hear the stories. I've got you on their pedestals. Don't, please don't. And Jimmy, I said, no, I don't want to know. Cav saying, no, I don't want to know. So, but he was great. I brought him to Ipswich later on. His leg, his injury, he was never the same after his injury. But yeah, he was Jimmy Bullard. He was a character.
You know what though? We'll all accept, I think, that winning games covers a multitude of sins that we don't know are going on or what's happening. Are they all going? Are they all meeting on Wednesday night for a few beers? Are they all doing it? And by the way, when you're winning and you get promoted, you're not going to stop it because if you do, the team spirit goes out of it.
That's the part of it that the science sometimes doesn't always. I know the science says you've got to come in for your recovery days, you've got to do that, but sometimes getting the lads away from each other and letting them have times with the family sometimes can, even though scientifically it's saying it's not the right thing.
That's the management
experience, Paul, as well.
Yeah.
I think you look at players and you think they're a bit empty.
Yeah.
They've had a couple of bad, especially in the Premier League.
Yeah.
You'd have a couple of bad results, Mick, and you'd look at them and you think they're empty, you're bubbly, you're trying to get them going, and you think, couple of days off.
Yeah, and you look at the
next I never did it.
I didn't.
You look at the next two fixtures. Oh, I know.
So you look at football today and compared to what we had when we started and when we were in our prime, what's the big differences? What are the things you like? What are the things you don't like?
Well, it's getting a bit like your gear, Tony. It's coming back in fashion, isn't it? You know what I mean?
I've told him about Kempy. Kempy with bell bottoms. He's bringing them back out now.
Well, we saw him before, like the long throws come back into the game, and we played Stoke at that game. And I looked at him and thought, the keeper can't come for these crosses because there's 20 in the box almost. So we left 3 up, and I see everyone bringing everyone back now. Personally, I think it's counterproductive because the goalie is 6'3". He can jump till he's 9 foot. At least he's got a chance. I don't think he's got any chance because everyone's blocking him. I don't want to sound like an hard day, but I think getting wide and putting crosses in the box. Do you know when?
I missed that.
Well, I bet you're not going to work this one out. When Man United won the league, when it was them and Arsenal, who put the most crosses in the box?
Beckham.
Man United. Who was second?
Arsenal.
Yeah. Now they might put different crosses into to what we were, but they'll cut back, and it's exciting to watch. Now you know, I see everyone's obsessed with possession.
Haaland and Gyökeres. I mean, the 6 foot plus powerful lads. Don't be. But players now are all expected to be cut back as well.
Yeah,
they don't put crosses in.
You're talking about that era, going right back to Watford when they finished second in the Premiership. What was the first division then? Sam Ellis was there.
Yeah.
And they did they were into stats. Graham Taylor, bless his soul, was into stats and this, that, and the other. They did the stats of that season. They came second. Liverpool won it. Liverpool played more forward passes than any other team, including Watford, in the Premier League or First Division.
When I was a young player, right, at Liverpool, I was there till I was like 20. Phil Neal, Alan Kennedy, whoever's right back, first thing, knocking along for Rushy. Kenny comes short, get them stretchy, he'll have played against him.
And then
all of a
opens
sudden,
up
into his feet, and then the game opens up. You know, so we've all said you've got to earn that right to play, haven't you? I think now when I see some, I mean, I'll be having a heart attack with, you know, past 6 yards.
You wouldn't do it, would you?
No, certainly I wouldn't do it if I didn't have the players. But I don't see many goals. I remember watching Barcelona and Man City about 5-6 years ago when Messi was playing, and there was 4 goals scored. 1 was from a corner, 1 was from a breakaway, and 2 from mistakes.
Nothing changes.
Nothing. No, I didn't see many goalies pass it and
go through the team and score.
There's more passes, goals scored with 3 passes or less, even I guess today than
how many goals are conceded from playing out from the back?
Well, yeah, exactly. Well, that Joachim Löw, when he was manager of Germany, reading something about him, and he said they lost more games when they had more possession. You know, I think they were in possession about a minute.
Yeah.
It's like, because if you can't get your team organised,
and up the pitch.
Yeah.
Alan Clark came to Barnsley when I was a very young player, and first thing he said to me, and I was getting a decent reputation at that time, and he came and he says to me, "I'll tell you something." He said, "You head it, you kick it, take it off the opposition, and give it to somebody who can play."
Yeah.
And I was insulted for about 12 months, and then I realised it was the best piece of advice I'd ever been given.
Do you know what? I think it's not. We all love to see players pass it, but I was brought up at Liverpool. You play what's on, right? If it's on to play it short, play it short. If it's on to hit the diagonal, do it.
Well, I've not been involved in the coaching of any teams that are playing the way it's played now, but it seems to me that there is a certain setup of how you have to play with teams.
Perception of
and
how
then,
you
then
should play.
If you give it to the best teams, that way of playing, they'll adapt and they'll move off it and they'll be able to accept it. But I see some of the teams who got promoted last year trying to do the same, rolling to the centre half in the
I think that's
box,
one
and they all get relegated.
One of the best changes this year is the 3 teams that have got promoted They all seem to be playing. They've all gone bigger.
Well,
Yeah.
Leeds
They've
have
all
started,
gone with
yeah.
pace.
Yeah.
They've all gone with power. And they play better football, but they're not overplaying.
I mean, I think we all like to see good football, don't we? No one wants to see
But
scrappy.
good football can be playing balls on the angle, getting
exactly.
it down, getting
That's
it wide,
I'm
and
just
getting
going to say that.
crosses
It doesn't mean like, I mean, how boring is it? You pass it to me. And like, was it, I think the boy Dunk has had the most passes in the Premier League last couple of years, all the centre halves.
And the goalkeepers.
Yeah, it's like...
Arsenal get an equaliser from Man City holding a high line really, but a great pass from Eze. And he's
got to get that in.
He's in behind it.
Because he's picked him as he's going to be the player of the year this year.
Arteta doesn't fancy him.
No, I know. He's listened to the programme, listened to Mick and thought, well, he won't be starting.
But going back to football, I think good coaches go. I remember saying to you, Tony, years ago when you were getting. So I said, if I was on Sky, if Tony Pulis was in charge of Man United, he wouldn't be playing the same way Stoke do, because you have to adapt to what you've got, and like if you've got good, powerful who can head it, why not put it in a box?
But
Paul,
if you said to him, put it in that half. If you said to Man United players, put it up in that half to two big strikers that you've got, and then when it gets knocked down, win it. Do you not think they're going to play football in the opposition half?
Do you not think they did that with Mark Hughes?
Well, I know, but that's what I'm saying.
But
That's
what
what
I'm
they're
Saturday, they played Chelsea Saturday, the goalie kicks it,
Frank Stapleton
flicks it on,
yeah.
and the keeper gets sent off.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
yeah,
it's
I managed at Stoke, and because we've talked about it, because of the strength that I made to keep us in that league, we played that way. I went to Palace, completely different squad, no big players up front. We had Cameron Jerome, who was quick, but not the best to his feet. And we set it out. The two wingers, Shamak could play midfield. Balassi was absolutely fantastic. Punchin had come in and make an extra one in the midfield. We played that way. We dropped really deep, got teams onto us, and then counter-attacked it. We never played from back to front. And then you go to West Brom, who had two, Brunty and Morrison. Yeah. So we had to play them inside because they didn't have the pace. You play to your strengths.
Well, that's what I'm saying. There's
Man
more than one way
City
to
can do
it.
I don't think Liverpool play that way anyway. I think Liverpool.
I think the best players, can work it out for themselves, play what's on. And I think when you asked me before about, what's the difference? Well, their intelligence. The intelligence and the decision making that the top players make is so much.
We've all
better.
given our teams ways to play, but they do find the best way of doing it. The best players do. They're not going to listen to you if you're saying do this, do that, do the other thing. When they want to do something, providing the structure comes definitely in the defensive side of it and pressing if you're doing that. But if you've got good players,
I used to talk to Fuller until the cows come home. Blue in the face, and he'd go, yeah.
Just
go out on the pitch.
Yeah. Well, he says sometimes the first thing they forget is the last thing you told them.
Right on, we've got to do our predictions, and of course you're leading at the minute, 8-7, but there's a game in hand with me, of course, for the Blackburn Ipswich game. That was
no, I'm going to contest that one. I don't take and I won't take any notice of that decision because it was done by amateurs. Me and you have been professionals, and if you're winning against 10 men with a couple of minutes to go at home, you should be given the points.
Really? Yeah, do you understand any French? Because my opinion on your opinion would be quelle surprise, my friend. Anyway, it's 8-7 to you, so you're winning, which is really annoying me.
Right.
What's your predictions, mate? Go on, give us them.
Right, this week, I'm going Arsenal to beat West Ham. I know West Ham have changed the manager again. They should get a response. I was and have been of the thought that it'll be Liverpool, Arsenal, and Man City. They'll be the top three teams, and I see Arsenal just having a little bit too much at home for West Ham. Then my second one is back home in South Wales. I'm going for Cardiff, who've shown some good form, although they got beat last game at home. They've shown really good form. They're up and around there to beat Leyton Orient. I really fancy Cardiff in that game.
They are going well. Cardiff, I know last week, but they have been going well.
And now I'm going against two of my ex-clubs. I'm going Walsall to beat Bristol Rovers. I had a wonderful time at Bristol Rovers, but again, Walsall are at the top of the league, and their home form is excellent. So I can see them beating beating Rovers.
Are you adopting reverse psychology here? Like
A little bit,
teams,
yeah,
you know?
yeah. So
So
if
they
I'm
go
going to
wrong.
lose two, I hope it's the bottom two I'm going to lose. And the last game is Ollie Swindon. He's got them up and running now, and they'll be really, really motivated. It's a seven-side derby, really, in some respects, to go to Newport and beat Newport, my hometown, which I won't get. I won't get a lot of joy from Newport for predicting that one, but I fancy Ollie to go there, and I fancy Swindon.
Well, you know what Ollie's like when he gets his teams going. They're hard to beat. They play good football, and they always seem to be like a happy bunch because he gets them motivated, doesn't he?
And
all right, mate. Well, we've got yours. So.
Just quickly on that, £10 returns, £69.91, including the ACCA boost from BOYLE Sports.
Right, come on then.
What's yours, Mick?
As usual, you got your nose in first. You saw them and you picked yours. So any thought of me having Arsenal or anything else was, I've got to pick different. Got to be different. So anyway, I looked at him and I thought Newcastle to beat Forest. I know Forest have not really started particularly well with Ange, and then I look at it. I'm thinking, Newcastle they're in Europe in this week. And then I look again because
Forest are
in, and Newcastle are playing Wednesday and Forest are playing Thursday. So it was a nailed on then. Newcastle. I think they played well against Arsenal. I thought, and Arsenal just managed to nick it at the end. Coventry to beat Sheffield Wednesday. Coventry seem to be flying. Frank's got them going, playing very well. Sheffield Wednesday. The bottom of the league, near just about.
Well, only
down.
one negative there. They went to Portsmouth and beat Portsmouth 2-0.
Yes, I know, but I just can't see Coventry losing there, to be fair. Just the way they're playing. A third one, Lincoln versus Exeter. I've got Lincoln to beat Exeter. And I'm looking at them and trying to think, so I don't know the players, I don't know the teams, how they play, so I'll give you a reason why. I'm looking, Lincoln a third. They seem to be flying. I look at their results. And Exeter have lost 5 on the bounce.
Oh, no, Mick.
And they're away at Lincoln. So
no,
I know,
Mick.
It's always got to turn around, but that's my choice. And then Doncaster to beat Burton. And I'm trolling through the leagues and having a look and see what they've got. Burton bottom, 1-1 in 7. But then Doncaster, I'm thinking, let's have a look at them. They've lost 4 on the bounce. But prior to that, they'd won 5 on the bounce. So I'm going, they've got to turn around. I'm going with Doncaster to beat Burton.
Is that anything to do with Yorkshire?
Do you think so? To be fair, I've gone a bit northern, and I've got Newcastle, Coventry, Lincoln, and Doncaster. Boom. Anyway, well, they're my choices. And £10 returns £70 and 1p, including the ACCA boost from BOYLE Sports. Paul, thanks for coming on.
Pleasure.
You've been brilliant, mate. Thoroughly enjoyed it, all your stories. And can I just thank everybody, Tone, because we've been in it now for
long time.
Seems like a long time. But anyway, thank everybody for watching. Thank everybody for their reviews. And if you like us, give us another good review. We're enjoying it, appreciate it. So, Paul, thanks.
Always
again,
nice to be here, guys. Yeah.